This is a short movie that has touched countless people. If you've lost faith in love at this point, why don't you watch it with me? They've lived together for most of their lives. They still get impatient. One day, the husband and wife were having dinner. The wife asked her husband to pass her pepper, but the husband confuses her with MSG and bread. At his wife's unhappy prompting, he finally got his hands on a bottle of pepper that he'd been using for years. It's obvious, he had forgotten what pepper looked like, and that his mother-in-law had died. The wife was helpless. But the next moment, the husband picked up the unpeeled banana and ate it, complaining that it tasted too bad. Then the wife realized her husband might be suffering from Alzheimer's disease. In the afternoon, the wife made an appointment with a doctor. Facing the doctor's questions, the husband answered reluctantly. The doctor asked him what year it was. He answered in the affirmative. 1965. At that moment, the cell phone rings on the table. The presence of the cell phone is enough to alert the husband. It's not 1965, and he sensed something was wrong, and began to fantasize. The cell phone turns into a puddle of paint. It flew into the air, and disappeared into the darkness. This means that the cell phone had disappeared from the husband's memory. The husband opened the curtains. He saw his wife discussing something with the doctor. After the doctor left, the wife looks upstairs at her husband. It's as if she's saying goodbye, as her reflection in the glass disappears. Seems to indicate that the wife's memories will fade away. To stop her from forgetting more, the husband made many signs and put them on every object. But after a few days, a new problem arose. The old man began to fantasize that he was locked up. He started arguing with himself in the mirror. When he came back to his senses, all that was left was despair. At this point, the husband lost all faith in life. He picked up the gun on the bathroom counter. He pulled the trigger, only to realize it was just a hairdryer. The pistol was just an illusion. Once again, his brain deceived him. On the other hand, his wife, in her husband's studio, she found many portraits of herself. These portraits strengthened her determination to take care of her husband. In the evening, she called her children over for dinner. She tried to use them to refresh her husband's memory, but in the old man's eyes, everyone's face was distorted and unfamiliar. He could only see his wife. But then, life took another hit. That day, the wife was cleaning the house, and the husband's words stung the wife's heart.
Vous êtes la femme de ménage?
He has forgotten even his wife. But then he turns his head. He was attracted to her again, and asked her to be his model for his paintings. She smiled and agreed. It turned out that the husband was a painter. He had been painting his wife all her life. The husband began to use paint. He began to paint his wife's face in a frame, and in the husband's eyes, the wife was no longer whole. Though no matter how many times, I'm still attracted to her, fascinated by her. Life will be like the end of the movie. It becomes a blank slate. May we leave some traces of love in our lives.
Tu me lâches pas, hein?
Ne vous inquiétez pas.